We want to tell you about a man whom everyone knows well. Every mother would like to have such a son. Any country would be proud of such a citizen. That is why it is so joyful to say,
Наш Гагарин.
At 9:07 Moscow time, I heard a whistle and an ever-increasing roar. I felt the giant spaceship tremble throughout its entire hull and slowly, very slowly, tear itself away from the launch pad. The G-forces began to rise. I felt an irresistible force of gravity pressing me deeper and deeper into my seat. It was difficult to move my arm. I knew this state would not last long. Until the ship reached the necessary speed and entered orbit around the Earth. Earth reported, 70 seconds since launch. I replied, understood, everything is fine. And I thought to myself, has it really only been 70 seconds? That morning was not just the morning of the first flight. Everything was happening for the first time. For the first time, a man woke up to fly into space. The doctor said that he slept wonderfully before the launch. Academician Korolyov did not sleep, but he did. Then the first bus, equipped for the first cosmonaut, rolled across the steppe toward the first ship for the first time. Cosmonauts recalled that everyone had bruises on their foreheads from the helmet. Dear friends, known and unknown, fellow countrymen, people of all countries and continents. In a few minutes, a mighty spaceship will carry me into the distant expanses of the universe. What can I say to you in these last minutes before the launch? My whole life now seems to me like one wonderful moment. Everything that has been lived, everything that has been done before, was lived and done for the sake of this minute. To be the first in space, to enter one-on-one into an unprecedented duel with nature. Can one dream of anything greater? This is a responsibility to the entire Soviet people, to all of humanity, to its present and future. Now there are only a few minutes left before the launch. How I wish I could embrace you all, both distant and near. See you soon.
Attention, 1 minute readiness. 1 minute readiness.
ZARYA1, I am Cedar, I understand you. 1 minute readiness. I was in a difficult position, so I was a bit delayed with the response. Receiver.
Key to start. Key to start confirmed. Launch. Pull through 1. Confirmed. Pull through. Purge. Key to drain.
Cedar, I am ZARYA1. Ignition.
Understood. Ignition sequence initiated. Intermediate. Reception.
We wish you a good flight. I am ZARYA1. We all wish you a good flight.
Everything is normal. Let's go. This is Moscow. All radio stations of the Soviet Union are broadcasting. We are transmitting a task report on the world's first human flight into outer space. The unprecedented has happened. Gagarin's flight has opened a new page in the history of humanity.
A Soviet man on a Soviet spaceship became a symbol not only of the triumph of our science and technology, he became the personification of the intellect and labor of his homeland.
I am Keta. I feel excellent. I am continuing the flight. I feel great. My mood is cheerful. I see the Earth in the porthole. I distinguish the folds of the terrain, snow, forests. How are you doing? Over.
And on Earth, the sky sparkled in the spring waters. The very same sky into which he, a cadet of the Saratov Flying Club, ascended for the first time in his life, never to part with it again. His wings were strengthened at a distant northern airfield, where he became a real pilot. But it was still a long way to that joyous word, let's go. Work unknown to anyone required thorough preparation and extraordinary training. Gagarin's rocket moved toward the launch pad. There was the solemnity of a parade in the slow movement of the 38-meter machine. And it was, in fact, a parade. A parade of metallurgists and chemists, aerodynamicists and instrument makers, radio engineers, and masters of electronics. 20 million horsepower were concealed inside this colossus, which embodied the pinnacle of human thought. Few saw him off when he flew into space. Few knew that he would fly. His mother did not know.
And suddenly my eldest son's wife, my daughter-in-law, comes to me and says, "Mom, why haven't you turned on the radio?" And she is crying. I say, "Why? It's Yura," she says. I say, "He must have crashed in a plane," she says, "in space." Oh, then Zoya started crying. Oh, what has he done? He has two little ones like that. What has he done?
Заплакали.
We started crying, and then the neighbors arrived, congratulating us, comforting us. A man came, well, someone we knew well. We had been together in courses with him. And he says, "Valya, is Yuri Alexeyevich your brother?" I say, yes, Yuri Alexeyevich, he is a major. Or rather, a senior lieutenant. He's a pilot, right? You know, he says, he is in space. I was so shocked.
Having orbited the globe in 108 minutes, he landed in the Volga steppe. He was in a hurry to reassure the world. He wanted to tell them that he was alive, well, and that he had returned. And he did what people had dreamed of. How long those minutes of waiting at Vnukovo Airport seemed to everyone. Do you remember how he appeared? Sturdy, strong, as he walked along the red carpet. The orchestras thundered, and Valya wept with joy and happiness. And his father could not believe that all this was for his Yurka, that such a massive crowd was praising his son. How wonderfully he rode through Moscow. It wasn't just jubilation and fun. Waves of cheerful outlook on life radiated from him. We all probably became prouder that morning for our belonging to the human race, to our country, to the people who had accomplished such a grand feat. Thousands of people smiled at him, and he smiled back at everyone, a little bashfully, and infinitely happy. A lad from Smolensk, the son of a village carpenter, a rank-and-file pilot, received the nation's highest honor that evening, the Order of Lenin and the Gold Star of a Hero. The whole world wanted to see Gagarin. Among our contemporaries, there was no one who was so well known and so sincerely loved.
Dear comrades, dear friends, allow me to express my deep, sincere, and heartfelt gratitude to the dear Czechoslovak people. Allow me, dear comrades, to express my heartfelt gratitude to you, residents of Golden Prague, for the warmth, the cordiality, and the attention with which you greet me.
Just imagine, he could knock on any door on any continent, and he would be the guest of honor everywhere. The charm of this man was extraordinary. He always remained himself. both when he stood on the highest podium and when he was chatting with Bulgarian peasants right in the field. Why did people love him so much? Of course, he was young, handsome, and had such a smile. Yes, that's true, but that's not all. He was simply a kindred spirit to millions of people. Everyone saw a little bit of themselves in him. He, who was young enough to be a grandson to the soldiers of October, embodied the victorious revolution. Gagarin's orbit, which embraced the Earth, brought people closer together. In his flight, they saw their own tomorrow. In his smile, they recognized the future of themselves and their children. Happy, cheerful, kind people. He was an ambassador of the Soviet Union to dozens of countries at once. He was a plenipotentiary of friendship and peace on every continent of the earth. It's hard to understand how he had enough time for everything. The end of his spaceflight became the beginning of new work on Earth. Together with his fellow cosmonauts, Yuri Gagarin became a student at the Air Force Engineering Academy. Sergei Pavlovich Korolyov said, "Yura is the personification of the eternal youth of the Russian people. He happily combines natural courage, an analytical mind, and exceptional diligence. If he gets a solid education, we will hear his name among the most prominent names of Soviet scientists." Quote. At the same time, Gagarin conducted extensive work preparing for stellar launches. "Ruben, this is Zarya. I hear you loud and clear. Boarding into the cabin is complete. Equipment checks are ready. Equipment checks are finished. All ship systems are working well." When Pavel Belyaev asked for permission to land the ship manually, and there were only seconds to decide, Gagarin participated in the emergency consultations. He was the one who gave the order to Belyaev.
5 years ago, I had the great honor of making the first space flight. Over these 5 years, my friends, associates, comrades, and colleagues in the Cosmonaut Corps have made their own unforgettable space journeys. We are now preparing a new experiment, exceptionally important in its complexity and significance.
How did he have enough time for everything? A deputy of the Supreme Soviet, a member of the Komsomol Central Committee. He was a man overflowing with energy. Wherever he went, he remembered his native Glotzik, knowing there was no greater happiness for a father and mother than to walk with him like this through the streets. Cuba, a free territory. Gagarin was the president of the Soviet Friendship Society with this heroic country. Every person rightfully believed that Gagarin brought glory to them and their people. Hosting him was an honor for heads of government and the world's greatest political figures. in Nasser's Egypt. Gamal Abdel Nasser awarded him the Order of the Nile. He was honored with the highest decorations of many countries around the world. Walter Ulbricht congratulated him on receiving the Order of Karl Marx. The government of Fighting Vietnam awarded him the Order of Labor Hero. In Liberia, they presented him with the Grand Star of Africa. But there were other, perhaps more modest, yet no less precious awards. Manchester workers awarded him the Foundry Workers' Union Medal. Working people felt a kinship with this working class guy, who labored both in space and on Earth. Hundreds of working hands reached out to him at Danish shipyards. Swedish firefighters invited him as a guest. He was an idol to boys, both these Swedish ones and these from Norway. And, of course, our Soviet ones. He became a citizen of the planet when he was 27 years old, only 27. In England, they provided him with a car bearing the number YG1, Yuri Gagarin 1. In Ceylon, poems were composed in his honor. In his honor, songs were sung about him, written in Japan. In Vienna, a line stretched for an entire block in front of a bookstore where Gagarin was signing autographs. Just look, you can't see the end of it. How many autographs he must have signed. He said, being at the center of the world's attention is a rather burdensome thing. Film stars crowded around, asking him to sign photographs. He became a guest of the most famous writers and artists. Well, let's be frank. Could all of this have made a young guy's head spin? It should have, but it didn't. He clearly understood that he was at the peak of a pyramid, the foundation of which was the labor of thousands of his country's people. At his very first press conference, answering a reporter's question, he articulated this very clearly. If you, a family man and father of 2 children, were sent into space, it means the USSR government and you were sure that the flight would end safely. In this question, I would like to replace the word "sent" with the word "entrusted." and I am very glad and proud that I was entrusted with this flight, and that everything would work and the flight would be successful. No one doubted that, neither our government, nor the scientists, nor the engineers, neither did I. Personally, I still want to fly into space many more times. I enjoyed flying. I want to fly to Mars, to really fly there.
I have brought you the most sincere wishes from the Soviet youth and all the Soviet people, that this festival may further strengthen the friendship between the youth of different nations, and that this festival may push even further away the evil of war, which is hated by all people on earth.
And he was also just a dad to 2 little girls. He loved his friends. And here's another riddle for you. I have no legs, yet I walk. I have no voice, yet I tell you when to have lunch, when to sleep, and when to start work.
A clock.
Is that right, Lanya?
That's right.
She knows everything. Let's give her some riddle that she doesn't know.
All right then. I know that you all love to dream about space and are a little envious of us, especially you boys. But you know, we envy you too. We fly into space, but this is just the beginning. Planets and unknown worlds are waiting for you. It is up to you to continue storming the universe. To you, young Leninists, to whom we will gladly pass the baton in the future. The roads of space are infinite. People will live on Mars, walk on Venus, and fly beyond the sun. And no matter how short and close Gagarin's flight might seem later, in 1,000 years it will remain the most difficult and the most important one. Because he was the first.
Вспомним о нем, жить рядом с ним нам с тобой повезло. Вспомним о нем, нам он оставил любовь и тепло. Все он оставил живым, кроме права делать зло. Вот мы о нем говорим, и на сердце светло. Мы снова вспомним о нем, о ласковом друге своем. Вспомним звездный причал и учебный штурвал, как нас Юра в полет провожал. Юра в полет провожал. Звезды в степи вновь зацветут незнакомым огнем. Вся наша жизнь, как бесконечная память о нем. Будут улыбки побед, только друга не вернем. Брещет в тумане рассвет, словно память о нем. Мы снова вспомним о нем, о ласковом друге своем. Вспомним звездный причал и учебный штурвал, как нас Юра в полет провожал. Юра горожан.